Hello there, Leo, and welcome to your May forecast. I hope that your month is getting off to a fantastic start. I'm really looking forward to chatting with you this month because as I was tuning into your energy, I feel like there's a shift going on that's going to allow you to release something. We'll get into that in just a second. First, I like to remind folks that you can always use this for your sun, your rising, and your moon. If you don't know those, then just stick with your birth date, and that will help you, and that's your sun sign. Now, with that out of the way, let me tell you how I normally organize a forecast. I begin with some channeled information, and I'll get into that in just a second. Then I use the cards to pull out a full spread for the month, and I really try to just pay attention to what needs to come through there. After that, I expand it to major areas of your life, such as health, wealth, love, and destiny. So let's start off with that channeled information. Now, the way that I achieve getting the channeled information is I meditate on your sign just before I start, and then I engage in some free writing, some channeled writing that allows me to connect with my intuition, and sometimes I will see, feel, or hear something. And in your case, what I was sensing was this breakthrough moment. The message that came through in the automatic writing was that when shadows or challenges appear in your life, and I have a feeling that there'll be something from the past that comes back this month, what you need to do is shine a light on them. You don't want to run away, you don't want to kind of put it under the rug. What you want to do is face it head on and shine a light on it. In doing so, you will raise your frequency as well as whatever you've been faced with. This is how light workers can work to neutralize negativity in their life. So the important thing here is not to be afraid, to face your fears, to face your challenges, and do so in a place of kindness, neutrality, and strength. This is the way that you're going to show the world and also show whatever challenges that come to you that you're ready for the next level. You're constantly going to be tested as you sort of elevate your frequency. And so don't relent, don't be afraid. In fact, just be grateful that whatever comes to you this month is going to help you get further along your path. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the cards now and see what additional messages want to come through. At this point, I like to remain quiet. Just like you, I want to see the cards and see what they have to say. In addition to the Celtic Cross, I pull an additional card. I call this the Catalyst. The Catalyst really helps show the way everything is connected and also the way to sort of really embrace success over the course of the month. Okay, so this month your Catalyst is the Three of Swords. And because I have a circular deck, I pay attention to how it came through. It was on its side. And whenever a card in this deck comes through on its side, I'm really paying attention to the fact that it might come from an unexpected place. You know, sometimes when it's upright or reversed, you either have a warning of it, or when it happens, you may not be completely surprised. This is a little bit of a curveball, and I've seen a few of these this month. Now, with the Three of Swords, what I like with this one is it's not all about pain and disappointment. What I see are challenges coming your way, personalities, and that was actually the first thing that I thought when I was looking at this, because I see a Knight of Coins, a King of Swords, a Queen of Swords, and I was thinking, wow, a lot of personalities, and we have three people here and three swords here. And so what you want to do this month is really focus on kind of checking in with yourself and thinking, where are my loyalties? What's important to me? Who do I really trust as a friend in my life? Some of these things may actually be tested, and you may see some true colors that you didn't before in certain friendships and alliances. As we take a look at the cards themselves, as I said, right at the center, a lot of personalities coming through. The first thing that I want to focus on, though, is your deep past. And I think that there are some unresolved issues in relationships and love that are going to be coming through this month. We have the Lovers, it's reversed. And so if there's anything that you haven't yet resolved, this looks like the first arc and the first thing that will be brought to your attention. So we have the Lovers and the World card. Both of these are reversed. And we have Judgment upright. Now, with Judgment upright, it's actually more favorable than the reverse, which for me reads like breakup, separation, or a judgment against something. with it upright, it usually shows a decision that's finally coming to a head. So if there's something that you've been waiting to finish or decide on, this month is when it really needs to be finished. You need to face it. And that's what I was getting at in that channeled information. The shadow may just be a fear in your life, and what you have to do this month is face it and resolve it. The World card in reverse can show a really big life event. Sometimes this can be moving, but sometimes moving when you're not completely ready, or when you might need to tie up some loose ends, because usually the upright card would show that, okay, this is an end and it's a beginning. The reversal shows me that you need to prep a little bit, or you need to work on releasing, and that's something that you can try to work with on yourself as you go through it. But those two cards together, the World and Judgment, show me a major change is possible for you this month. If you're not moving location, World can also indicate travel, broadening your perspective because it's a global card. It can also be about dissemination. So that can mean like publishing, broadcasting, or taking a product or service and sharing it with a larger audience. To do this, however, many of you may need to seek out legal counsel. We have two cards here which would absolutely be applied to a lawyer or to litigation or the law. So if that is something that you're interested in doing, maybe as an independent business person or a partnership, because I see 2 or 3 people that may be interested, you really want to pay attention to contract and negotiations this month, and you want to make sure that whoever's representing you, you feel really comfortable about, that they understand what you're trying to do and that you trust them. Now, as I promised earlier, as we're looking at these cards, first I want to show how they could apply just directly to you. The King of Swords here is about communication. The Queen of Swords is also about communication. The two of these together are showing me that you'll have at least 1 or 2 chances to speak your mind this month, and to really take some action in an exciting way with your what looks like your money or your job. So don't be afraid to take a risk. I see at least a couple of opportunities for some of you, and you may have some big decisions to make. The other thing that this can indicate is a marriage. When I see 2 of the same suit, it often is a couple. It doesn't matter if it's a man and a woman, or 2 women or 2 men, that really doesn't matter. But what I see here is a partnership. And again, what is crossing these cards is the Knight of Coins. It was specifically crossing the King of Swords here. So what you want to pay attention to is, how are you feeling right now with money, finances, and the relationship that you and your spouse have with money? Is one person carrying more of the load? And if so, have you guys kind of worked out what that means for the power dynamics this month? You really don't want to let something like that get in the way of love and balance within your relationship. The other thing that coins can indicate are resources, so time and energy. Are you spending enough time and energy in your relationship? And it can also be self-confidence and self-worth. Are you feeling like you're appreciated enough? Are you appreciating your partner enough? So all of these things are elements that you can work on this month when it comes to partnerships. And I have to say, usually it's three of cups that would bring this, but I'm also getting it with this. Try not to get other people's drama or business into your relationship or have it affecting that. 3 definitely is a crowd. And when it's just a personal relationship and not a business, what's most important is that core, the 2 of you, the core relationship. And so, of course, you're going to have family and friends and possibly even other peers that could be entering into this, but you have to respect one another first and foremost, and then everything else follows in suit. I see that for many of you, as we're looking at the ego, it's just the matter of like making a decision that could be difficult. And 2 of Swords often indicates a path where it's not entirely clear which direction is going to be quote unquote better or perfect. And the truth of the matter is you may be presented with like 2 equally good or challenging situations, and you're going to have to make the best decision for yourself. You're kind of lucky if it's a great relationship and the 2 of you can work it out together, because in this situation you have someone to check your logic and work with you on figuring out if it's the right thing for you. If not, what's going to matter here, I think, at the end of the day, is quality of living. Because when I'm looking at hopes and fears, and this can be sort of that deciding card, that wild card, we have the 2 of Coins. This can be a card showing too much time in a certain place, too much money, too much time on the road. And what I'm seeing again is an indication of, really, it feels like a change of address or a change of work or a change of environment. So some of you may just feel stale or static where you're at. So if you want to stay where you're living, this is a great time to go in and do renovations, redecorating, getting rid of things. Again, some of you may be considering purchasing a new house or renting a new apartment, or there may be some of you that are doing some work or relocation for work. I should say. I was going to say travel or relocation for work. So if that's the case, I just get a sense of shifting going on. Again, the World, Judgment, and the Tower, they're pretty big cards, but they're also really exciting. If you think of key elements in your life that have changed who you are, a lot of times it's like a graduation. It can be marriage. It can be some sort of really cool thing that you decide to do that's just a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But there's always a little bit of shuffling, a little bit of risk, a little bit of fear, anxiety, and excitement associated with it. So see if you can kind of focus on the opportunity and the excitement elements of whatever it is that you have to change this month. And I think that's going to put you in a place where you can appreciate what's going on and not get sort of overwhelmed. The outcome card here is to try to see the opportunity. The Four of Cups is a card where sometimes you can be too focused on what's happened, what's happening, or what you think your limits are, and that floating cup in the air indicates something that you've yet to realize, or something that the universe might be presenting to you as a blessing in disguise. So I challenge you this month to kind of look at whatever's going on and realize, okay, there's some things that are revealing themselves and coming undone, but then there's something else that's going to come in its place. And just like for those of you that enjoy going outside and gardening, you know, with every season, some things are born and some things die. Sometimes you go into the ground and level it all and start again, but that's part of the process. So we do the same thing in our lives. You know, people come and go, places come and go, but it's all part of our overarching lesson and opportunity. And the two cards at the top, which I like to pay attention to, your crowning, which is Judgment, and your outcome, which is Four of Cups, these are not as sort of tumultuous, if you will, as some of the other ones. So that shows me that the net result of this month won't be as overwhelming as it may seem up front. Your outcome is you're going to have a decision to make, and you're going to have to weigh the options. Maybe it won't be a clear-cut one, but it feels like it's a good one. Four of Cups isn't really a bad situation. In fact, typically, it's better than you think. That's kind of what I would tag that card. Better than you think, hidden blessings, things to consider, and sometimes understanding that the grass isn't always greener somewhere else. So part of you may just be deciding to stay put, and there's nothing wrong with that either. But what's important here is that you at least give it a chance and entertain the possibility, whatever that possibility is. Overall, it looks pretty exciting this month. That's how I would kind of wrap it up. And again, I think this idea of you being able to bring whatever you're afraid of into the light and neutralize it, elevate it, that's going to then make you unafraid. If you have tough questions to ask those questions. If you have things that have been on your mind or bothering you, then you want to also air those so that your partner, your friends, your colleagues can help you through that. Okay? The only thing, again, that I want to mention here is try not to get that third party, if they exist, caught up in between what matters, between you and your friend, you and your lover, you and a family member. I feel like there's one extra person that could cause havoc, and if that's the case, you want to kind of like let that go, okay? Let's go ahead now and expand the forecast and take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, and then we'll continue to reflect back upon the main spread when it makes sense. And don't worry if this is a lot, I always review it at the end, so we'll have another chance to see this as a whole. So the health card for me includes mind, body, and spirit. The message this month is to focus on your active listening. So as we look at this card and it's reversed, what it means for you is some of you may need someone to listen to you, but the act of just sort of taking time and listening to others may also reveal things that you need to hear. I've found that almost nothing is accidental. So whether you're listening to something on the radio and all of a sudden it triggers a memory, or you're having a random conversation at the grocery store and it reminds you of something, or someone shares a personal detail with you that later you understand, wow, now I know how this fits into it. Know that to have someone listen to you, you're also going to have to do that. And I feel like you'll be tested at the beginning of the month with your listening skills first. Then I feel like it's okay. You want to reach out and go ahead and let someone else be the listening ear for you. Now, this is in the health area, so there's a second part to this, which is I want you to listen to your body. And because the card was reversed, this can mean that for some of you, there could be something going on that you're just not paying attention to, an ache, a pain, some part of your body that just feels like, it's probably nothing. I want you to give it attention this month, to make sure if you haven't had your regular checkup, you do something like that, and pay attention. Your intuition is rarely wrong when it comes to your physical health, and I think that's really important. And so I think enough said on that. Let's take a look now at your wealth card, which includes money, career, and opportunities. I'm curious about this because when I'm looking at that Two of Pentacles card, it seems like some of you are at a point in your life where you might be trying to make ends meet and really need to have more opportunities presented for you, or you have a decision for, again, a job or a money situation that you're trying to weigh. So let's see if this card can help you out this month. And so we have third chakra, and for me this is again weighing on intuition, but for those of you that are looking for a job or looking for a creative opportunity, this is creativity. It's also using your higher self. You have to feel like you're being challenged. So if you have a day-to-day job which is providing all of the means that you need to sustain, yet it's not feeding your heart and soul, then it's probably time to make a change if situation allows. The other thing here is I want you to use your third eye, your intuition, to really home in on when it's the right time to possibly ask for a raise, to trust yourself, again, with respect to who you can trust and who you can go to in your work situation. You've been given more signals than you probably know. We've got two cards here that are really about listening to yourself. So for your health, it's listen, and for your money, it's also about listening. Both of them reverse, showing that there's a need to really own that internal knowledge and not second guess it, okay? As we look at your love card for this month, let's see what the message is. For love this month, we have distance, faraway places. Get ready for new horizons. And that so perfectly connects with the World card and the Tower card. And what I think for some of you, if you're looking for new love experiences in your life and you're overdue for a vacation or something like that, this is a great time to travel. Also, some of you may be reconnecting with someone from afar or meeting someone from afar, perhaps on an online dating site. This can also just indicate regular friends and loved ones that you need to connect with, and there's some sort of distance between you and them. So this is about overcoming that distance. But I sense that a theme with your relationships this month is connecting over time and over space and finding a way to bring those people closer to your heart, or to your heart space. Finally, we just looked at health, wealth, love. Now I like to look at destiny. And for destiny, this is really a GPS card. This is a chance for you to check in and see if you like the overall direction in which you're headed. And if you do, then this is a chance for you to stay on that path. And if not, you can do a course correct. That's why we really go through the effort of looking at everything each month. So we get more about love here in your destiny card, and it really does seem like the initial theme, which was healing relationships overall, is what this month is going to kind of wrap up with you sort of thinking most about. So we have partnership and romance. So it could be platonic, it could be romantic, but the whole point this month is to really get back to a place where you're feeling equilibrium, where you're feeling both sides are being respected. Now, for those of you that are single and happily single, this is really about business partnerships and friends that you care a lot about this month. So it seems like your direction, your overall trajectory, is heading towards perhaps having more social interactions with people, spending a little bit more time balancing those out so that both sides feel validated and equal. And when appropriate, in some places, pruning out things that don't make sense anymore. For me, the Tower reverse can be a rebuilding card. Usually, justice in reverse or judgment in reverse can show a breaking up or a falling away, but so can the Tower. And when I'm looking at this Tower card attached to the Two of Swords, there may be some things that have been going on for some of you in a friendship or a love relationship where you just finally can't close your eyes anymore. And that's really what the Two of Swords is about. That's why we see the blindfold on it. So open your eyes, shine that flashlight or that torch on whatever it is that you need to deal with. And I think in the relationship front, it's going to help heal both parties. Because a lot of times people want that to come to a head. Subconsciously, the whole reason sometimes that people are doing self-destructive behavior, it's just to have someone help them and see them and pay attention to them. So if you're being witness to that, then you want to try to help that person. If it's just a decision that you need to make about staying or going, that's also something that you want to do so that you can free yourself up, so that perhaps someone new can come in. Because when we cling on to things, it's kind of like when we have a lot of belongings, we don't have room for new things, we get crowded in. The same thing happens with some relationships. So check in and see what makes sense for you, but I sense some shifting happening and ultimately some healing. What's left at the end of the month seems like it's very good. Okay, so let's go ahead and review everything that we talked about so that you can, again, get a good understanding of what it means for you. Your channeled information this month was whenever shadows or challenges appear, shine a light on them. In doing so, you'll raise your frequency as well as whatever it is that has come into your life that you've just cleared. This is how a light worker can overcome things. It's not by hiding, it's not by having fear, it's by embracing the opportunity, understanding it, and then releasing it. As we look at your catalyst this month, a reminder to try not to let other people get in the way of a core partnership, remembering that 3 really is a crowd and that you're going to possibly have to prune out some sort of an unnecessary relationship or a hindrance here, and do your best to try not to let all of these personalities get in the way of your clear vision as well. Your central card showed a lot of personalities and a lot of opportunities to speak up. What you want to do is remember what's important, valuing the other person, valuing yourself, and remembering that when it comes to money and business, you really want to make sure that everything has been reviewed and follows the letter of the law here with the judgment card in the crowning position. This is not a month where you want to try to somehow sidestep legal. It's very important to keep everything by the letter of the law. I sense a lot of opportunity here both at the beginning and the middle of the month for travel and movement, and for some of you letting go. And this can involve letting go of a relationship, a job, or a living situation, but it's a big shift. And I feel like it's overdue, so don't be afraid of whatever change is happening. If you're staying still right now, this is a change of your lifestyle, deciding maybe to be healthier, to let go of something that you've been holding on to. It's an attachment card here, what I'm really getting with the Tower. So release attachments so that your love situation can improve, and also so that you're going to have more time and energy, because that's really what you're desiring here when we look at hopes and fears. Finally, knowing that whatever changes come about, because there are a lot of them, they're really for the best. The Four of Cups, it was reversed, but I'm holding it up right here so you can see it. It's really about opening your eyes to see what's coming through. What is the universe trying to teach you? What is that blessing in disguise? When we tuned into your health, I want you to listen to your own body. If there's anything that's going on that doesn't feel right, you have to take care of that this month. You should always do that, but especially this month. Now, the other thing here is when it comes to a health professional, make sure they're listening to you as well. Now, when we look at your wealth card, the third chakra for me is it's not just creativity, but it's beyond just using your brain. It's feeling like you are on your path. So if you're at a job that's sustaining but not inspiring you, this is a chance for you to move past that. Or if the opportunity in front of you really isn't getting you as excited as it should, you want to check in and think, is this a place that I see myself in the long run? Or is this just a job? And you can decide if that's something that you want to continue with. There's a distance component with all relationships this month, whether it's meeting someone who's from another country, falling in love with someone online, or dealing with relationships that have a distance component, like someone's not in the same city. It feels like you have to overcome the distance and really help that person feel like you're in their heart. Speaking of which, that's the whole purpose of this month for you. There may be some changes of location, of job, of other things, but really what it's about is friendships and love. And so at the end of the month, your relationships, whether romantic or just platonic, should feel more balanced. If you do that, then I feel like you've embraced what is coming through this month. And I think that has more to do with the channeled information than anything. So the shadows could be challenges within your relationship, or there could be some sort of an issue that you guys have been sweeping under the rug with someone that you care about. Just shine a light on it, talk about it, work with that person and let them know that you're coming from a place of love, of light, and also of, we have this judgment card, I would say compassion. You're not going to be judging that person, you're there to help them, doing what's right, in other words. So that brings your monthly reading to a close, and hopefully you've received the guidance and information that you need to move through this month with confidence and feeling that you're empowered and ready to take whatever comes your way. I know that life sometimes throws curveballs your way, however, so if there is something that you want to talk about, I am available for appointments. You can check out the first link below the video, and that will allow you to see my rates and availability. The second link is a way that you can support the channel. So I do this out of the kindness of my heart each month, but there are production costs, and this is the way that I make a living. So if this was even moderately helpful, you could give as little as $1, and that goes a long way. Really does help make these possible. So for all of you that have done that in the past, thank you. And if you're thinking about doing it, check out my site. There's a lot of ways, either one time or recurring, that you can do that. And again, it makes all the difference in the world. Additionally, I'd love for you to stay in touch with me. The third link will allow you to connect with me across social networks, which include Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I also have a newsletter, and of course, there's a link to my website there as well. So with all of that being said, I would like to simply end with gratitude. It's the most important part of every video, which is why I saved the best for last. Over the past few months, I've been talking about how little tiny changes, all of us working on ourselves mainly, is making this planet a better place. If we keep doing this, it's akin to this beautiful chain of light. And I mentioned that some of us are even standing up taller, and it's kind of like you're a lighthouse or a beacon for others. What I want you to do this month, again, is another step-up challenge, which is to do some sort of an act of kindness, random act of kindness, unconditional work for someone else. And as a light worker, that's what you want to do sometimes, is just service so that the world can be better. And so this can be smiling at someone who's having a bad day, helping someone out, listening this month if you need to. That was one of the messages for you. Or simply trying to use something that you've learned in your life and that you want to share with someone else. So do something nice this month, see how it makes you feel. It should be unconditional, no expectations of a return. And this is a great way to get out of frustration in your own life. It takes your frequency and it raises it. So this is my service to you. I wish you much love and light now and always. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your journey. I look forward to seeing you again really soon. Take care.